Boo, everybody, and welcome back to the HabWrap. I am your host, as always, Harry Rice. This is your friendliest and funniest source for anything and everything Montreal Canadiens. And my God, what a return to hockey. It's been 4 days, believe it or not, since the Montreal Canadiens played hockey in an actual game. They've had practices, I'm sure, but yeah. In an actual game format, this is the first Canadiens game in a long 4 days, and it's felt like it's been a couple months, I'll be honest. But you know what, that shows just how good the Canadiens are playing and how much I'm excited for them to be back. And yeah, so they played the Ottawa Senators tonight. It's the first game between the Habs and the Senators since the preseason. Of course, the second one since Nick Cousins tried to injure Ivan Demidov. And then, of course, he didn't play the next one. There's a lot of guys that didn't play the next game anyways. Most guys were just... both Habs and Sens said, they were just trying to get through preseason without injuries. So, this is the first game with Cousins in the lineup. And we've actually got two Cousins, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So tonight, it was a fun... exciting back and forth game. A little bit of a spoiler, but of course we are going to talk about that. However, firstly, we got to get to the lines. The lines, as you guys know by now, you can't play a hockey game unless there's lines. Otherwise, then you're just going to have like 3-4 guys skating around. The game's going to end like 19-18, which, I mean, admittedly, that'd be fun. But regardless, the lines for the Canadiens were Caulfield, Suzuki, Slafkovsky, Newhook, Kapanen, and Demidov, Anderson, Evans, Gallagher, Bolduc, Veleno up front, Matheson, Dobson, Struble, Hudson, and Jack-Eye Carrier, or in other words, nothing changed, really, there. You roll with what's winning, as teams should do, and Montreal is doing. However, the only change is Samuel Montembeault gets the start in net for this game, and Jakub Dobeš backs him up, giving him a break before the Flyers game. I would imagine it's Dobeš back in net. However, given that the Flyers should be a bit of an easy matchup, you would think Monty could go for that one again, but I would imagine that Dobeš probably does get back in the net for that game, given they have Trevor Zegras, who is red hot right now. The opening lines for the Ottawa Senators were Nick Cousins, and I do have to clarify that, you'll know why in a second, Stützle with Batherson, Greg, Dylan Cousins, Perron, Michael Amadio, I don't know why I'm clarifying, we'll alternate between the left wings and the centers, so Michael Amadio, Pinto, Giroux, and McDermott, Habs legend Lars Eller, and Zetherland. On the blue line, it was Sanderson, Zub, Shabbat, Jensen, and Clevin, Matin Paulo. Linus Omark, of course, gets the start between the pipes for the Sens, despite his garbage start to the season. Hunter Shepard backs him up. He's been fantastic in the AHL in recent years. I would have liked to see him in the net tonight. I think he would have been an interesting option. Regardless if the Habs lit him up or he completely stole the game, I like Hunter Shepard. I want to see him get some starts once in a while. So, that being said, let's get into the game notes because, my God, we've got some stuff to talk about in a multitude of ways. So firstly, before the game, as I mentioned, the Cousins thing about Demidov, Jack-Eye said yesterday the Canadiens did not forget, and oh boy, they did not. We will get into that. But we've got the Molson Cup presentation for August. The Molson Cup, which I feel like some Habs fans have grown very weary of and have not liked because the Canadiens seem to lose every time they show it on TV. Every time they show the Molson Cup, the Canadiens seem to lose that game. However, this year's Molson Cup for October goes to Cole Caulfield. Who else would it be? 9 goals in the month. Like, I completely get Suzuki had 16 points in the month of October. It was really good. Caulfield had 9 goals. 3 of them were overtime winners. He came in incredibly clutch. Couldn't blame anyone for giving that to Cole Caulfield. He absolutely deserves it. So, with that being said, there's a shot by Giroux just wide. There's a stick that gets in the way there. Amadio has a shot that finds Montembeault. He holds 32 seconds in. Cousins touches the puck for the first time, and the Boo Birds, they would be ringing all night when Cousins would touch the puck, which was not that often, actually. He did not have that many touches of the puck. It was a couple times in the first, and then I think once in the third, or a couple times in the third. Not many at all. The Cousins is not an offensive player, so you can understand why he's not touching the puck that much. Habs look depressed, but off a turnover, the Sens hem the Habs in with some passes. Carrier then gets a long shot. That's pad stopped by Olmark. Bit of physicality earlier as Bolduc is bumped at the Habs bench. Habs nearly connect, as I put in my notes, Demidov. But Demidov and Nufuk, I love fat fingering my keyboard. They get some passing along the boards, but that gets poked away. Dobson has a good shot through traffic. That's blocked away. Oh, yeah, okay. I was about to say, didn't I just say the same note twice? But no, I just put the same ending at the end. There's a turnover by Matheson that gets to Pinto. A good stop by Samuel Montembeault. It goes back the other way, and suddenly there's a break for Cole Caulfield. It's a clean break. He scores! He goes 5-hole, and it just squeaks by. Habs get the 1-0 lead. 7:05 in. Cole Caulfield gets his 10th of the year from Nick Suzuki at 7:05. My God, just a great start to the game. Struble then has a good hit along the boards in the corner. The Habs are alive at this stage. And then, holy shit, Bolduc with a huge hit on Jake Sanderson launches him into the Habs bench. Curtis McDermott tries to hit him from behind. Bolduc gets out of the way, but he wants to fight Bolduc, does McDermott. That's not going to happen. Bolduc says, hey, I scored a clean goal. He scored plenty of clean goals with the Canadiens already. He said, hey, I laid a clean hit there. I'm not going to fight you. You're an enforcer. I'm a goal scorer. We do not mix. And the refs do agree. McDermott goes to the box. It's a Habs power play. McDermott's called 2 for roughing. No penalty to Bolduc. You love to see it. Sens then clear quickly. Habs get some setup. And holy shit, Montreal takes a 2-0 lead on the power play. Juraj Slafkovsky on a wide open net off a beautiful kind of spinorama backhand pass from Nick Suzuki. Slav, all he has to do is tap it in, and he does. Slav gets his 6th of the year. It took Slav until January to hit 5 goals last year, and he's got 6 goals already. Slav gets his 6th of the year from Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, so all of the top line have 2-point games except for the odd man out, but I'm sure Slav is extremely happy with getting at least a goal tonight. I'm sure he's very happy with that, and that gives him a 3-game goal streak, actually. And Zooks, I should mention as well, with the assist on the Cole Caulfield goal, he is now on a career-high 11-game point streak. Anybody who doubted Nick Suzuki as a first-line center, I think it's safe to say they're probably coming around and saying, yeah, dude's a first-line center. There's a good shot block by Matheson. Habs rush a moment later. A good hit by Evans on Shabbat in the corner. Carrier and Cousins exchanged some words. Thought Carrier might have gone for Cousins, but Cousins, it was at the end of a shift. Jack-Eye with a nice hit on Dylan Cousins. I'll clarify him. I'll say Cousins for Nick, and I'll clarify when it's Dylan. I don't have to say Dylan's name too much tonight, thankfully. I like Dylan Cousins, but thankfully he wasn't too offensive tonight. McDermott wants to fight with Jack-Eye, but McDermott's shaking the gloves, but Jack-Eye looks him off. Does the exact same thing he did to Reeves last year, just looks up at the scoreboard. I'm not a fan of Jack-Eye doing this. I don't like when he does that. I'm fine with him not taking every single fight that is offered to him. Obviously, I would love for him to, pick his spots a little better. This was the spot to fight, especially after McDermott went after Bolduc the way he did. I think Jack-Eye had to take the fight here. I think that would have been. I think it would have been good. I'm sure Jack-Eye was planning on fighting Cousins. Spoiler on what happens later, but. So I get why he was kind of saving himself, but there's no rule against not fighting twice in the same game. I get if he gets hurt and blah, 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 whatever, but just, I personally think he should have taken the fight with McDermott, and we'll see what happens later on in the game. That kind of, the momentum kind of shifts a little bit because he doesn't take the fight, much like he did with Reeves last year. McDermott then goes after Hudson, just giving him a little shove after a whistle. It's nothing, like, oh, he came at him, cross-checked him in the head. No, I just gave him a little shove. But Struble gets right in there immediately, says, hey, get away from our star defenseman, please and thank you. Montembeault makes a glove stop and holds. He did that for, I believe, all 4 saves he made at this point in the game. Montembeault, I was hoping would have a little bit of a better game than he did, but because of what happened, we'll get to the one goal I think can be put on him, but there's a few that I do not think you can put on him at all. But I wish he would have had a better game stat wise, I should say. And I just put if him holding the puck every time he stops him for a little bit helps get some his confidence back, that's fine by me. There's a good shift from the Evans line. Lots of quick hits by Gallagher and Anderson to get that going. Doc with a nice deke to get by a defender as the fourth line pressures. There's a big hit by Clevin as he almost jumps into a hit. It almost looks like it. But, Veleno then goes after him. And, because he's doing that, there's a 3-on-1 the other way for the Sens. But no, the whistle goes. We got a fight. Clevin and Veleno. That's right. If you would have told me Joe Veleno would have a fight before Arbor Jacka in this game, I would have said you're nuts. So, yeah. Veleno and Clevin. Clevin early gets a few hits in. Veleno with a few jabs, but Clevin does get Veleno down. He doesn't knock him out or anything. It's just one of those hey, I'm going to bully you down because I'm a piece of shit type things. So, yeah, Clevin does get the better of Veleno technically. And they also get the power play out of it. Veleno's called an extra 2 for an unsportsmanlike conduct play. So, yeah. Habs set up. There's a good shot block by Matheson. Sens with some fast passing. I'm sorry if I'm mumbling a little bit. Mumbling at this point. The Jays just made it 4-2. That's right. I'm watching the Blue Jays game while I'm doing the recap. Yes, that is very true. Sens with fast passing. There's a good block by Carrier, and he gets a clear. Sends into the zone, but there's a misplay, and Newhook clears. Pinto is a one-timer. That goes wide. Kapanen clears. The Habs are 1-for-1 on the penalty kill tonight. Sens nearly pressed, but there's a good stick that leads to a 2-on-2 with Bolduc, but that ends up out of play. Off a draw, Demidov finds Kapanen in the slot up to Newhook, who's kind of wide, and the shot is stopped by Ullmark. A very good save there. The Habs go to a power play late. Hudson gets a high stick from Greg. That was kind of clear as day. It looked like he sort of meant to do it on a follow-through, but he doesn't get the puck, and he just gets Hudson, so that is a pretty clear high-sticking call. Demidov and Hudson go to each other. Wait, sorry. Yeah, I don't know what I'm... Oh, wait, no, sorry. Yeah, no, the Habs are on the power play. I'm stupid, sorry. Demidov and Hudson go to each other. There's a shot that knocks Ullmark's stick out of his hand. That's out of play. I'm pretty sure that shot was from Demidov. Caulfield, off of a good hold at the line, gets a shot that knocks Ullmark's mask loose. Knocks Ullmark's mask loose. Words are very hard for me, yes. That's actually bad luck for the Sens because they just tried to clear, but Ullmark, like I said, knocks his helmet off, so that's back in the Sens zone. Habs with 55 seconds left on the power play, though, at the end of the first. There's a hard-working puck battle along the boards. The Sens do get a clear. So shots are 9-5 for the Canadiens, working 9-5. They have a 2-0 lead after the first period as well. In the second period, the Habs try to get set up, and there's a mix-up that leads to an Eller break. That's a penalty. Slavkovsky's called for a slash. It's a smart penalty. Eller has a break. There's a penalty. Slavkovsky is called for a slash. It is a smart penalty to take, though, because that would have prevented a clean breakaway for Lars Eller, and you'd much rather potentially just killing off 2 minutes, icing the puck for 2 minutes over a high-danger scoring chance. So the Habs end up being 1-for-2 on the power play out of that. Habs on the penalty kill can't clear, but Andy along the boards, he gets one. Matheson gets a clear off a board battle. Pinto is stopped by Montembeau's pad. Perron near the slot. There's a good stop by Montembeau with the glove. He holds with roughly 30 seconds left. I didn't... no, I did mark 1 for 2 on the power play. Yeah, my apologies. So, Perron with a near shot. There's a good stop by Monty with the glove. He holds with 30 seconds left. Carrier gets a clear, so the Habs are 2 for 2 on the penalty kill tonight. And Hudson, at this point, he just... My God, I love this kid. Great dekes. He just keeps his feet moving, keeps the puck going. Even if he's not passing, he's just, just looking for where to go to. The kid is just... His brain thinks at such a level above 95% of players on the ice with him. He eventually gets one to Doc, who knocks Montembeau's stick loose. There's a wrap try for Doc, and that gets saved. Habs ice 1 5 minutes in. Top line presses after a change. Slavkovsky gets a stick in the way. Slav then with a big hit on Ridley Gregg. So Suzuki has a good battle in the Sens zone, but he can't get the pass off. Shots are only 1-1, 6 minutes in. Not a ton of action at this stage. Newhook has a good rush. There's a shot, and he scores! Goal light is on. Nope. The shot went right off the post and out. It looks like it might have gone in, but they show the overhead camera, and yeah, no, it shows it's an exact ding right off the post and stays out. That sucks, but... It is obviously a fair call, but yeah, we were inches away from Newhook getting his 5th of the year. That would have been sick. I had to look on my stats to see if he had scored, how many that would have been. But unfortunately, not a goal. But that is a good opportunity. 7 minutes into the second period. Demidov has a look. There's a shot by there's a save by Olmark. Big one there. Canadiens press off a steal by Suzuki, going back the other way. Cousins nearly boards Demidov, but he was able to get out of the way. It looked like he was kind of going for one of those, elbow to the back type deals, but thankfully Demidov gets out of the way. Matheson has a nice hit on Stützle with both men headed for the puck. Love to see that. Doc's line presses. Doc gets in the way. Doc goes in the way. What am I saying there? Jesus. Doc's line presses. There's a shot. I think I meant to say as Doc gets in the way, like in front of Olmark, but Olmark does cover, and we take a break. Matheson has a stop by Montembeau. Doc gets sent on a break the other way. It's a clean break, and he just misses the net. I don't know if that was Doc. I think I might have mixed that up with somebody else, because I know Bolduc gets a break. No, that was, I think, Bolduc's breakaway. If I remember correctly, that was actually Bolduc's breakaway, because they are on the same line right now. So yeah, unfortunately, Bolduc misses the net, and it goes back the other way, and the Senators score. Drake Batherson gets it unassisted. Yeah, it was kind of a weird bouncer. Veleno tries to go to the corner, but he ends up passing it right to Drake Batherson, who's right by the side of the net, and he just puts it behind Montembeau, so the Sens only down 2-1. Yeah, I like Veleno, but just... the dude has no points through the first, 11 games now? He has the skill, he just... When you're on a line with Bolduc and Doc, you would think you could be producing at least a little bit, but... Unfortunately, he is not, so... Yeah, Jack and Giroux then getting a really good battle with each other for the puck. They're cross-checking. They're trying to deke each other out. Giroux's holding him off the puck, but Jackie's staying with him. It's a really good puck battle. Matheson then on a starting rest. There's a shot. That goes off the post. My God, if the Canadiens connected with their posts, it's 4-1 right now. And not to mention, if they connect on that breakaway from Bolduc, it's actually probably 5-0 right now. My God. Habs then press. Dobson goes to Suzuki, but the shot is tipped out of play. Habs look for something with their top line. There's a poke by Struble as Stützle tries to look for a pass. Doc has a poke. He gets speed, but he ends up falling. That's the third time in the second period that a Canadian had fallen while a Blue Jay, while a Senator is nowhere near them. So hopefully their skate sharpening equipment is up to snuff, because if not, they're going to need to get that replaced. by the time the next game in Montreal takes place, which I forget if the next game, I think the next game is a home game. Habs then go to a penalty kill as Cousins gets tripped by Carrier. That sucks, but that is a legitimate penalty. And 10 seconds in, Batherson gets called for a trip on Anderson, so the Habs are 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. Just like that. So I guess the hockey gods don't like Nick Cousins. They didn't want to give his team a power play. They said, nope, thank you very much. 4-on-4 for 1:50, and then we have 10 seconds of a Canadiens power play. The Habs look to press. Demidov then follows. Demidov gets a feed at the line. He's given space, and there's a glove stop by Ullmark. Hudson on a break after Zub falls. He's hooked, and it's a penalty shot. Lane Hudson gets his first career penalty shot. Oh my god, this is going to be historic. Hudson comes in, he skates in fast, kind of slows down, almost kind of like Kuznetsov, goes 5-hole, and Ullmark makes the save, unfortunately. In my notes, I literally just put, damn, LOL. That's literally what I put. I was not too upset about that. The game's 2-1 still. Would have loved the insurance marker, obviously, but, the Canadiens are still looking good. Habs do press in their very brief power play. There's a pass to Newhook, but that's not clean. Slav does look for a pass. There's nothing there. The Habs are 1 for 3 on the power play. They do look for something. There's a hold by Matheson out of line. In the final minute, Habs get in. Caulfield drops to Matheson. There's a wrister stopped by Ullmark. And off the next play, the Sens go up the other way, and they score. We've got some issues with this. So firstly, nope. The goal does not count. Michael Amadio was the one who gets credit with it. Giroux's in the crease of Montembeault. He is big time in the crease, and he is fully preventing Sam Montembeault from making the save. And the Sens are going to call their timeout for some reason. Oh, but wait. They're doing it to look at video review, and out of the review, they're challenging the call because, and we see on the replay, Monty does make a save. Giroux kind of gets out of the crease, and about 2 seconds later, Monty makes a save, and how does the puck end up in the net? Because right in front of the net is Mike Matheson, who deflects the puck back into the net. Alright, so they review it, and it's a good goal. So, yeah. It's a tie game because Mike Matheson doesn't know how to play proper defense. I'm not blaming him strictly for the deflection, but the fact that he's in front of the net where he's not covering anybody. It's not like, he's covering somebody, he's leaning against them, and his skate happens to get out. No, he's just there in front of the net. Nobody's near him, aside from Giroux, who's already engaged with Noah Dobson. So it's a 2-2 tie game. The shots are 16-11 for the Canadiens after the second period. In the third period, here we go. 1:15 in, it's Cousins and Jayden Struble. That's right, it's not going to be Arbor Jack Guy. It's the dude who's playing with Lane Hudson right now. It's Jayden Struble. Struble nails Cousins with one. He starts going down. Cousins gives him a second. That bloodies him. And a third for good measure. Cousins goes down. Struble destroys Nick Cousins in this fight, getting the revenge for almost injuring Ivan Demidov. It almost looked like he actually did injure Nick Cousins in the fight, but unfortunately, he did not. Cousins would actually go to the back. He wouldn't serve his 5 minutes for the fight. They would have to send someone else. I believe because he got bloodied up, that's why they had to go repair him right away. Which, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of that. I kind of think it's badass when players are playing with the blood going, but like, I get it's probably not, ideal at all. So, I kind of get that, especially if it's like a big gash. You don't want to have, especially if it's a white jersey, you don't want to have blood running all down the front of it, and it looks pretty damn violent. So, I get it, but if it's like a little cut, I think you should let him play. But I understand why they don't, of course. Habs on the line change. There's a good rush. Jack-Eye can't get a shot on net. A lot of puck battles. Carey has a hard hit on Greer, on Ridley Gregg. Sorry, Greer. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Gregg. I feel like that's the second time I've said that in this game. And it's right in the numbers. There we go. And I don't say that because I want him to get hurt. It's actually Gregg's fault. He's giving Carrier the shoulder, and then at the last second he turns, and that's when Carrier gets him in the numbers. That is all Gregg's fault. And Carrier was actually down for a moment. It's probably one of those like with Kadri when he went to hit Hudson, he accidentally got an elbow in the face. They didn't show a replay of the hit from a similar angle like the Kadri hit, so you couldn't see if that's what happened, or Carrier just went down awkwardly, figured he'd stay down for a second. But yeah, either way, the Sens press. However, there's a broken stick, I believe, of Ridley Gregg. Jack Eye's got speed off a broken stick, but just can't get anything. There's a puck that ends up scrambling over to Ullmark. He covers with Caulfield speeding in. Very understandable. Not much of note. Very calm game after the Cousins and Struble fight. And the benches had actually cleared in the Jays game because the pitcher had ended up hitting, I think it was Jimenez, with a pitch. And that was the third time he aimed a pitch at Jimenez. So we did miss a bit of the Canadiens game because, let's be honest, benches clearing in a baseball game does not happen every day, and especially won't for the next, 6 months they're off of baseball, I think, something like that, 7 months. Carrier covers the puck as he's down on the ice after a Dylan Cousins chance. Senators the nice one with 9 minutes left. All we really missed was a really good Monty save on Sanderson with a screen in front. And then the Senators score after Anderson and Evans just can't capitalize on a scoring chance. Anderson open, decides to go to Evans, who already has a man covering him. Evans quickly tries to go back to Andy, but it's turned over. It goes back the other way. And Tim Stützle just doesn't get covered by Matheson, and he scores. A good deke. He just kind of fakes out Montembeault, makes him freeze, goes backhand and up high. And it's the 3-2 Senators lead. Stützle with his 6th of the year. Sorry, I didn't say for the Amadio goal. The Amadio goal is his 3rd of the year from Pinto and Zub with 11 seconds left. Batherson's goal was unassisted. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that already. And Stützle has his 6th from Batherson with already his 10th assist of the year. Batherson did look good tonight until he didn't, which we'll get into. And Clevin with his 1st assist of the year. I think that's his 3rd career assist. I know he hasn't played that much in the NHL. I think he played last year though. No, yeah, because he played last year. No, that just has to be his 1st of the year. No, I'm mistaking him with Yakimchuk still. For some reason, I keep confusing those two. But anyways, it's 3-2 Sens. We were watching the Jays game for a while after it was 3-2. We just said, yeah, no, this is probably over, unfortunately. Doc goes offside with 3:48 left, so we missed a little bit. Actually, we missed a little bit, and plus there wasn't much to report on. There's a bad turnover, and Monty has to make a save. I didn't see who turned that over. I think it was a shot from Batherson that he held. That sucks. Demidov with the 3rd line out there with some speed to end up getting loose. There's a shot stopped. The puck ends up coming around. And Lane Hudson, hey, he's deking. He centers it. And, oh my God, the Canadiens score. They tie the game up with just under 4 minutes left. Who is it? It's Ivan Demidov with his 3rd goal of the year. He gets that from Lane Hudson with his 10th assist of the year. And Michael Matheson with his 4th assist of the year. It's a tie game, a beauty. Hudson just gets a feed from Demidov, goes right back as Demidov gets open in the slot, slaps it home, and oh my God, we are tied. I did not think this was going to happen. I figured our time for comebacks was not going to happen tonight. Our heroics were not going to happen tonight. But my God, we tie the freaking game. In the final minute, there's a puck battle won by Hudson, but there's a line change and a turnover eventually leads to a Sens press. But no shots because of how aggressive the Canadiens are being. Shots are 25-17 for the Canadiens, and a 3-3 game is headed into overtime. I can't do a SpongeBob voice. Don't ask me to do that again, please and thank you. But we are headed into overtime. The Canadiens are at least guaranteed 1 point, which I'm very happy about, of course. In overtime, the Habs win the draw right back to Hudson. He gets a little bit of speed. No shot. They did want to get set up. I think they wanted to get set up so Hudson rushes into the zone, drops it for Caulfield with speed, and he comes around and drills it left side the way he tends to. Newhook on the line change. He comes in. There's a shot into the chest of Ullmark. Senators then go the other way. Cousins has a look, but there's a stick by Matheson. That was a good one there. There's a puck loose after Demidov goes down, and there's a bit of a puck battle. Oh, shit. Matheson's on it. Oh, wait, what? Oh, my God. He turned it over. Alex Newhook gets in on a clean-ass breakaway, and he goes bar down, and Montreal wins it. Alex Newhook with his 5th goal of the year. If you didn't watch the game earlier, I bet I got you with that. Oh, he would have had his 5th of the year. Yeah, well, he gets it for real this time. Alex Newhook with his 5th of the year, unassisted. If you really do want to give an assist, it's to Drake Batherson of the Senators. So, yeah, I don't know what Batherson was doing there. He was trying to go back to his blue line, I think. He just fans on the shot. Newhook grabs it. He is off to the races. And that is one guy you do not want to let off to the races. Habs with the 4-3 win. Just insane. The Habs get the only 2 shots and the only one that matters. Shout out the hockey guys. Shots are 27-17 for the Montreal Canadiens, and they pick up the win to boot. Oh my God, Montreal. The Montreal Canadiens, I believe, are now 8-3-0, if I remember correctly. 9-3-0. The Montreal Canadiens are off to a phenomenal start to the year. If you had told me the Canadiens are not just going to be around the playoff line this year, but no, they're going to be in the playoffs. They're not just going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be tied for first in the division. No, I think they're number 1 in the division by themselves. Not only that, but you then tell me, hey, they're number 1 in the Eastern Conference, tied. And not just that, but you tell me, hey, they're 1 point off of being first in the National Hockey League. I would have said you're crazy. The Canadiens have played great hockey. Now, of course, there are still some issues, of course. A little bit of defensive lapses are not great at times. They play well in the first and the second, and recently they have seemed to really kind of hold back in the third until their heroics are needed, and at that point, that's when they'll turn it on. So that's a little bit annoying, but with the Canadiens, heroics seem to happen every game, and you know what? I'm not going to question it because these Canadiens are... I put it in the title of the Canadiens and Canucks game. They're looking like they're the cardiac Canadiens reincarnated. They are the reincarniac Canadiens. We'll find a better way to call them that. But yeah, the Canadiens just pulled off a fantastic win at home in front of their loyal, faithful fans. They beat the shit out of Nick Cousins. They let the Sens get a false sense of security and then pulled it off in the last minute with a huge gotcha, bitch. And my God, the Canadiens look legitimate. All right, we're already half an hour in. I hate going beyond half an hour for these, but I think it's understandable why we did for tonight's game. So, we got to get into the stats. So that naturally means, of course, I got to talk about Big Dick Nick. Nick Suzuki, the captain, le capitaine. Nick Suzuki, he's got 2 goals, 16 assists for 18 points to lead the Montreal Canadiens. As I said earlier, he is on an 11-game point streak. Goal Caulfield with 10 goals, 5 assists for 15 points. Lane Hudson with 1 goal, 10 assists for 11 points. This dude is still near point per game, just under point per game as a sophomore. Everyone thought that the sophomore slump was going to hit Hudson. I don't think he even thinks he's a sophomore. I think he's just thinking he's an NHL vet at this point. That's how good the kid is playing. He had a chance. He had 2 great chances at goals. He could have came out of tonight with 3 goals. on the season. Hudson's goal scoring is going to come to him. Whether it's this season or next season, it's going to hit him very, very soon. Ivan Demidov is fourth on the team with 3 goals, 7 assists for 10 points. Alex Newhooks with got 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points. Hudson, by the way, I should say, has a 6-game point streak. Newfie, with his goal tonight, now has 4 goals in his last 4 games. Absolutely insane. Speaking of insane goals, Juraj Slafkovsky's got 6 goals and an assist for 7 points. He is on a 3-game goal streak himself. Oliver Kapanen's got 4 goals and 3 assists for 7 points. Michael Matheson, he's got the opposite, 3 goals, 4 assists for 7 points. Noah Dobson's got a goal and 6 assists for 7 points. Zach Bolduc's got 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 points. Brendan Gallagher's got 6 assists. Alex Carrier's got a goal and 4 assists for 5 points. Kirby Dock with a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. Caden Gooley, who is still unfortunately hurt, hopefully back sooner rather than later, fingers crossed there. Jake Evans and Josh Anderson all have a goal and an assist for 2 points. Jayden Struble's got 2 assists. Arbor Jacki and Patrick Laine each have an assist. Laine, who again is, just like Doc, unfortunately hurt. Hopefully he is back sooner rather than later. Caden Gooley, Jayden Struble, Arbor Jacki, and Joe Veleno each have a fight this year. So that is going to do it for this episode of the HabWrap. Thank you all so much for watching, for coming by. Please hit the like if you enjoyed the episode if you're on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button as well if you're on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the follow if you're on Spotify, Amazon, wherever else you might be listening to this. We're just the Canadiens early in the season. We're still only 12 games in. I think once it hits that 20-game mark, if we're still above the playoff line, I think that's when you can start saying they're going to look like a playoff team, which, holy hell, I would love that. But regardless, that is going to do it for today's episode of the HabWrap. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, hit the sub, hit the follow, whatever else you got there. Do not forget to like if you're on YouTube. Check out the links if you're on YouTube. Share with your friends and your family. Anyone else who you might think would like a Canadiens podcast, a Habs fan cast. I saw someone call it a fan cast in a comment the other day, and I've never heard the term fan cast used before, but it kind of makes a lot of sense. So, that is going to do it again. Thank you all so much for watching, and always remember, no matter how good we are like last year, or how great we are like this year, go Habs go, à Montreal, and say with me everybody, c'est le but.